We're glad you've joined us today for BRMC's Healthy Connections. I'm your host, Donna McMullen, and we just introduced our guest today, and I'm going to start off with Becky Rose. We've got Volunteer Week coming up pretty soon. What can you tell us about that, Becky?
Yes, we do have Volunteer Week. That starts April 21st, and that whole week we celebrate our volunteers. And we are so blessed to have the volunteers that we have at our hospital. They are so committed, and they do wonderful work. And we're just really blessed to have each and every one of them. What we're celebrating is the number of volunteers we have. We have over 600 volunteers that help us at the hospital. And their hours that they donated back to the hospital, over 117,000 hours back to the hospital. Yeah, truly, truly remarkable. And then also we want to celebrate our 50th anniversary for our bargain box. One of the missions of the auxiliary is to help raise funds for the hospital, and we do that through our bargain box here in town, and then also in Flippin, and then our thrift shops, our gift shops, and then monthly fundraisers that we have. But the first thing they started doing was working at the bargain box to raise funds for our hospital.
That's amazing.
It is.
That's amazing.
And what we can do with the donations that people bring into us is truly, truly a blessing to the hospital. Over the last 50 years, our auxiliary has raised over $4.3 million and gave that back to the hospital. And they all through the little fundraising events that our auxiliary has started. But we're really excited about the bargain box, needing help at the bargain box. There's volunteer opportunities there, and donations. We need your donations.
What kind of donations is it that they look for, besides clothing?
Well, of course, always clothing, knickknacks, jewelry, small appliances. We can even take like chairs, end tables, coffee tables,
little bit of
lamps,
dressers,
especially your knickknacks. If you're tired of dusting, we'll be happy to dust those for you. Bring them into the boxes, and your donations are tax deductible.
Okay. And can they get a tax-deductible form when they bring the items in? Will someone fill
there
it
is
out
a form
for
at the bargain box
Wonderful.
that they'll get.
Wonderful. And it is time for spring cleaning.
It is, absolutely.
Or downsizing, as some of us older folks are doing, and finally saying, do we really need to keep great-great-great-great-grandma's stuff?
And, also we'll be happy to come and pick those items up if you don't think you can get them in. We're working on volunteers that are going around and trying to pick things up for people who are wanting to make donations to the hospital.
That'd be a great service, because that is the challenge for a lot of us, that we don't have a vehicle to transport it, and we don't have the energy, strength, or know-how anymore to move some of it. So,
and a lot of people don't know where our bargain boxes are. The one in Mountain Home is on 501 Coley Drive, and the phone number there is 425-3753. And then the one in Flippin is on Industrial Park Road. If you know where Sodi's Restaurant was, it's just down the street from Sodi's Restaurant, and their phone number is 453-7880.
Great. And we also have with us today Paul Mruk. Now, Paul, and now Carolyn, you're the current president of the auxiliary,
Yes.
and Paul, you're the president-elect, that you'll be inducted?
It's April the 29th. April the 29th.
During the volunteer day.
Carolyn hands over the baton.
Okay.
to a rather trembling hand.
Well, Carolyn.
Very capable.
Yes.
I must say. I have no problems whatsoever turning that over to Paul, because he's done a remarkable job as a volunteer, and has contributed a lot of suggestions to us that in helping our patient be a little more at ease, and letting them know that if they have a problem, all they have to do is call us, because we are always there.
Always
as
there.
Paul says, yes.
And Paul, I believe, is our second male president
Yes.
in the history of the auxiliary. So it's not just a women's organization. We have men and women volunteering. So Paul is our second one.
Yeah.
So.
How can I go wrong with all that female guidance? I cannot go wrong.
No. It will guide you all the
It
way.
will guide you
I'm sure they'll give you their opinion, Paul. They'll share them with you.
Well, actually, about a third of our membership our husband and wife teams. So we do have a lot of male participation, and we're very glad because they have a totally different outlook on how to approach people, and they can relate. It's a little bit easier for a man to relate to a man, as you know, rather than a woman telling a man, "Well, we'll do this or we'll help you with that." If a guy tells another man, you know, we'll help, the man's more inclined to believe it than
he's willing to accept that help at that point.
So.
Can you anyone jump in on all of this? But I sometimes think when you say volunteering and with the hospital, the first thing that jumps into a lot of people's mind is they're thinking either the old days of the candy striper where they're passing out books and magazines and maybe a cold soft drink, which those days have kind of gone by the wayside. Or they're sitting at the information and giving somebody as they walk in a room number. Tell us what our volunteers at the hospital are doing, just kind of an overview.
Well, in my instance, I work up in surgery in the waiting room, and we keep the families up there aware of the progress of the surgery, when the doctor wants to speak to them. If the surgery's longer than an hour, we get an update from the surgical area, and we go in and we tell them. And I think that the overall thing, and Paul, correct me if I'm wrong on this, is to make the patients and their families feel more at ease. Because no matter what it is, whether it's a blood test or whatever, they're stressed out when they walk in that door. And I think it's our job to make them feel at ease, whether it's talking a little bit about their background. You know, if they'll say, well, you know, I drove all the way in from St. Joe and I'm really nervous and it was foggy or whatever, you know, if you get them to talk something about that, it's going to relieve a little bit of it. And I think that's one of my primary jobs. What do you think, Paul?
When a patient comes in, and I work on the ER lobby, and someone comes in, it may be the first time in our hospital, and they're there to see a loved one, and what is the room number of Carolyn Hannon? We not only give them that room number, we could point to the elevators and show them there the elevators go to the 3rd floor. We don't point, we take them to the elevators, we take them to the room and make sure there's 3515, there's Miss Hannon there.
Right.
And all they have to do is walk in the door. If they want to go to the cafeteria, and they're burdened, like Carolyn said, they're stressed, they're thinking about their loved ones in the hospital, and they don't have to think about how to get to the cafeteria after they've been told, because usually they're not listening to you anyway. They're concerned about the loved one. If they need to go to the cafeteria, even if they need to go to the restroom, we take them to the door and open the door for them usually and say, there it is. So I think that's such a convenience that we do.
It's such a thoughtful commitment.
And we do a lot of filing too. I don't know, some of the volunteers do nothing but office work. We have volunteers that work down the laundry, that fold washcloths, whatever needs to be done down there. We also have volunteers in the cafeteria that clean up and help the cafeteria workers down there. Of course, our gift shop. We have people at the I'm not going to say what I normally say, the community houses. Yes. I usually say something else and everybody laughs. You know, and they instruct people that come in, you know, where they can find support groups or the different services, like the Mruk Center has Strong Women, and I don't know if it's called Strong Men.
Fitness for Men.
Fitness for Men.
Okay.
You know, get them signed up for those groups. So there's just we have people doing gardening outside. Of course, we have our transportation engineers that drive the shuttles.
In our rehab department, it's probably 200 feet from where they park. But if you've got a bad knee or if you've got a bad ankle, there's a little incline there. If we can save them patients 2 or 3 steps, we've done something. And they rely on the shuttles. And we have 2 operating during the day, and that is such a blessing to those people. And they give us a lavish praise, or give the drivers lavish praise, for that service. I don't know of any other hospital in the country. There may be. I don't know of any. I've never heard of any that offer the shuttle service that we offer at BRMC.
Right. I know. It always reminds me of Disneyland.
Yeah.
Or Disney World.
Yeah.
It's the only other place that's got shuttles. So
We have a variety of places, behind the scenes and out front as well, especially at the bargain box as well. If you don't feel comfortable in the hospital setting, the bargain box and in Flippin and Mountain Home, we've got a place for you there.
And we're going to explore that a whole lot more as soon as we come back from this commercial break. Don't go away. We've got the rest of the show for you. A lot of exciting opportunities for you to become a volunteer, and we want to share that with you. We'll be right back.